Hey guys, Gary here, back with another design video. This time we're going to be talking about, as you I'm sure have seen from the title, switching from a 15-inch MacBook Pro to a 2015 MacBook as my primary design tool. So this is something that I've been really thinking about for a long time, which is my workflow has now shifted away from needing the power that the 15-inch MacBook Pro can give me and needing more portability and just ease of use, which I figured I would get from the MacBook. And so I took the plunge. I still have the 15-inch. It works more like a desktop computer would for me now, where I keep it sitting, and when I do videos, I'll edit a video on it. But for the majority of my work, it's on this little guy right here. And this is just in a plastic case because when I throw it in my bag, I feel like I like having that, and same with little nice feet on it. But this thing is so small and light, it's amazing. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, why would you make the switch? And it really comes down to this. I realized that most of the tools I was using are pretty lightweight. So like a text editor, Word, Bear, Sublime Text, whatever you want to use. Terminal, so iTerm 2 or just flat terminal, using things like CodeKit, basic HTML, CSS writing things, a little bit of Photoshop, very minimal for me. It's more vector-based stuff versus bitmap in the digital space, so that right there is a lot of heavy lifting gone. And then my primary tools are Sketch, right? Some form of Git client to save and maneuver files around, and then Framer, Framer Classic, not Framer X. I do have Framer X on it, but it's Framer Classic that I really use to put together prototypes. And that's really the flow, because everything else can be done in a browser for the most part. So I got to thinking, and I was like, let's switch from the heavier, bulky 15-inch MacBook Pro, which is kind of crazy to call it heavy and bulky, but once you do a 12-inch MacBook, it really does feel heavy and bulky, and switch over to the little guy. And so I've been doing it now for a few months, and I take the 12-incher with me everywhere I go. Battery life, just capabilities wise, it is so much nicer. That's even a 2015 one, so like first gen, nothing fancy about it, and it handles everything I need it to do 90% of the time. So with that, my advice is, if you're really thinking about what computer to buy, if you're a designer and you're like, oh, can a MacBook work for me? The answer is going to be yes, unless you're doing like heavy video work or things that are really processor intensive, like lots of PowerPoints. Or not even PowerPoints, what am I talking about? Photoshop. I do too many PowerPoints, and it handles the PowerPoints. It handles the PowerPoints just fine. It's just like if you're crunching massive poster size Photoshop things, yeah, it's going to slow down. If you're using Adobe After Effects and need to render, yeah, it's going to be a pain. But if you're doing what 90% of UX people do, if you're doing what 90% of UI people need, the 12-incher is going to be perfectly fine for you. Yeah, you'll have the dongles, but anybody that's going Mac has the dongles now. So my advice is, save yourself some coin, some money, buy a cheaper MacBook. Mine, when I got it, was $570 off eBay, which is crazy. For less than the cost of a new iPad, I got a full machine that handles the majority of my workflow. So with that said, I'll keep you guys updated, of course, on other hardware or software changes that I'm doing. But as of right now, I'm jumping into the smaller, lighter weight machines with less emphasis on horsepower. If I need a desktop, I'll get a desktop, and I'll leave it for the few cases that I do. With that said, guys, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next one.